What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Today we're going to take a look at Jack Delaney. Jack Delaney was a light heavyweight champion. He was a French Canadian. Was born March 18th, 1900. He stood 5 foot 11 and a half inches and weighed 175 pounds. Now he had total bouts of 86 fights. 42 of those fights were by knockout, and 27 were decision wins. He had 2 draws. He lost by decision 7 times. Jack Delaney was a pretty good fighter. We're going to take a look at some of his fights in a Police Gazette scrapbook. I don't share these scrapbooks too often, so I'm just going to go through about 3 pages. This entire scrapbook is Jack Delaney. Over 1,000 pages. This book weighs about 50 pounds. And this is one of the 950 scrapbooks that I have, Police Gazette related. Now, I have over 1,000 scrapbooks, but 950 Police Gazette scrapbooks. And they're all about 1,000 pages, 50 pounds apiece. I'm going to be sharing 3 of those pages of Jack Delaney with you. So let's take a look a little bit about Jack Delaney's career and some of the fights he was involved in. Now, as I said, Jack Delaney was a French Canadian, and he held the light heavyweight championship July 1926 to May 1927. St. Francis, Canada. And he was a pretty good fighter, was Jack Delaney. Now, Jack Delaney was placed on the cover of Ring magazine, June 1924. As you can see here, he was a middleweight at this particular time of his career. And he would eventually take the title away from Paul Berlenbach. Now, this is one of my Ring magazines from the collection. I have the entire Ring magazine collection. And this is one of the magazines, 1924. And here you have Paul Berlenbach. He lost his title to Jack Delaney. Let's take a quick look at that fight. As you can see here, Paul Berlenbach was from New York. And he fought from 1923 to 1933. He had a short career. He held the World Light Heavyweight Championship from 1925 to 1926. Had it a year. Let's take a look at that fight between Paul Berlenbach and Jack Delaney. Now here you have Paul Berlenbach and Jack Delaney. When Jack Delaney knocked out Paul Berlenbach, you have Berlenbach on the floor, Jack Delaney standing over him. That's Berlenbach on the floor, Jack Delaney being sent over to a neutral corner. This fight took place in Madison Square Garden in New York. Now we're going through this Police Gazette scrapbook. It's 1,000 pages of just Paul Berlenbach. I'm sorry, Jack Delaney. Paul Berlenbach has his own book, but this is Jack Delaney's book. It's over 1,000 pages. This book weighs about 50 pounds. I have 950 of these books. I have more than 1,000 books of scrapbook But a police gazette, I have 950. Going from the 1600s to the 1950s. So here you have Jack Delaney is new light heavyweight champion. Terrific body punching, beats Berlin-Batch. 50,000 see Paul decisively beaten in 15-round bout. Challenges sprains thumb. Alters battle plans and wins. Now I want you to take a look at something. The pay for Berlin-Batch was $3,323 per minute for fighting. Now I didn't do the math, but you got to think about this. We're talking 1926, and he was paid $3,323 a minute for fighting. And this went the entire distance, 15 rounds. It's incredible. Who wouldn't take smacks? An abuser at $3,323 a minute. That was what Berlin-Batch received for the lameries he endured at the hands of Jack Delaney in Ebbets Field. That's where the Dodgers used to play, Brooklyn Dodgers, in Brooklyn, New York, on the night of July 16th, 1926. The following day, I collected a check for $149,548.85. The sum of which represented the boxer's 37.5% of the gate. Not such a bad night of work at that. Unbelievable. Delaney received only $1,094 a minute. Fascinating. I'm not going to go through this entire article with you, but it just goes through the entire fight. Just want to give you an idea. But this whole book is Jack Delaney, and I have another book with Paul Berlin-Batch. I kind of mixed it up. So let's take a look at Paul Berlin-Batch for a second. All right, now I just pulled out the Paul Berlin-Batch book. Now he's here standing with Jimmy Slattery. Jimmy Slattery was from Buffalo, New York. He wound up becoming a champion as well. The ringside action photos tell a story of Jimmy Slattery. He was knocked out by Paul Berlin-Batch. Here you have Slattery on the floor, Berlin-Batch looking over him. Slattery struggles to get up, holding the rope as leverage. Referee stops the fight. Berlin-Batch over to your right, coming over to assist him. Slattery is completely stretched. Don't know where he is. And the victor is Paul Berlin-Batch. Let me show you Jimmy Slattery for a moment. Now here you have Jimmy Slattery. Like I said, he's from Buffalo, New York. And he was knocked out by Paul Berlin-Batch. Jimmy Slattery was a boxing master, a very good fighter. Now, as we have Paul Berlin-Batch's book open, let me just show you him face the Cleveland Baker boy, Johnny Risco. Johnny Risco spills Paul Berlin-Batch on the ring floor, wins the victory bout. Now here you have Johnny Risco standing over Paul Berlenbach. Berlenbach on the scales of this fight. You have Berlenbach struggling to get up as Johnny Risco stands over him. Now this was the Cleveland Baker boy, Johnny Risco. Now I like Johnny Risco. He's a very good fighter. His mother owned a bakery in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to show you him with Jack Delaney. All this was going on around 1926 or so. All right, now I'm back at the other book with Jack Delaney. I'm starting to get a back pain carrying these heavy books. Jack Delaney scores over Johnny Risco in a rough 10-round bout. French Canadian's best blows bounce off the chin of the Cleveland heavyweight, which easily avoids a knockout. Now what's happening here, Johnny Risco's on the floor, but he wasn't knocked down. He threw a wild punch and slipped. And here you have Jack Delaney standing over him. Now let me show you the constitution and the character of Johnny Risco. Anytime that the contractors who are busy constructing a new subway lines in New York City happen to run out of steel grinders and concrete, we recommend that they employ a couple of ribs and sections of the jaw removed from the anatomy of Johnny Risco's heavyweight boxer of Cleveland. Now, this fight took place at the New Madison Square Garden. This was in 1926. The city of events on February 5th, which is 1926. And all that Jack received for his pains was a couple of badly bent, bruised, lacerated, and otherwise damaged fighting hands. Now this was the same Jack Delaney who once knocked out Paul Berlenbach. Now we looked at that fight. Presented light heavyweight champion of the world. The famed right hand socked that lad, Paul. See, I'm wearing my glasses, so you gotta excuse me. Basically just saying that, he dropped Paul Berlenbach, but he had a hard time with Johnny Risco. Now, he wound up getting a 10-round decision. Most people thought that Johnny Risco won the fight, but they gave it to Jack Delaney. But I'm just going to tell you this. A lot of the fighters in the 1920s don't give the credit they deserve. They were very good fighters. Now, they don't have modern technology, high-tech training as they do today, but their heart was in the right place. It was during the time of Depression, and everything was basically all heart. They had heavy bags, speed bags, jump rope. They just invented the exercise bike, the rowing machine. They had the medicine ball. These are the tools that they use to prepare themselves. They ran in combat boots. A lot of them ran 13 to 15 miles. Up mountains when they went to training camp. So I just wanted to talk about Jack Delaney and Johnny Risco and Paul Berlenbach. By the way, Paul Berlenbach took the title away from Mike McTeague. Mike McTeague took the title away, as we know, from Battling Siki, who took the title away from George Carpentier. So thanks for hanging in there with me, Scrapbook Boxing. Don't want to bore you. Salute to these magnificent fighters. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. My whole goal is to touch all fighters in all areas, all weight divisions, because that's what I'm about. And hopefully you get something out of it. Any questions, just hit me up in my comment section. Salute to these great fighters. Salute to my subscribers. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Peace.